What's up, Ramley? You are now in the kitchen with Chef Nixon for all your fixings for the latest and greatest of VCU men's basketball. So, yesterday, VCU was defeated by Baylor 69-61. Let's talk about it. Baylor coming into this game, Baylor's a nationally ranked team, number 6 in the nation. Last year's national champions. Um, returning some guys. They lost a few key components, but I think the system is ran well enough and their recruiting is done well enough to where they were able to plug in some guys that I'm not sure if they're going to win in a dominant fashion as last year. However, they're a very long, athletic, talented team returning. And like I said in my previous video, in regards to the Syracuse game, going into this game, Baylor is a team that we were going to have to really be mindful of the boards. We had to be able to handle their pressure, and really find a way to get our shot off. So starting off the game, I believe we started out fairly well. Few things that I felt that we could have done a little bit better, especially in the first half, was just starting off the first half was just containing the dribble. A lot of the times they were just getting into the lane a little bit too easy. And for us, being that we do have some offensive struggles, I don't feel like we can have possessions where we have lapses or mental mistakes to where we give up an easy 2 points or easy penetration to the cup in a drop off. And I feel like in the beginning of the first half, they really had a lot of opportunities like that. And another thing, rebounding. Rebounding is something that has kind of been our Achilles heel outside of scoring the ball. It's been our Achilles heel because, like I've always said, our perimeter defense is stellar, with Hassan and Deloach down there protecting the rim. Our rim protection is pretty solid. However, once the shot goes up, we struggle finding somebody, hitting them first, and then going to gather the rebound. So I knew coming into this game that we would have to rebound exceptionally well in order to win and pull this one out. And when you look at the total at the end of the game, it kind of tells the story. And I also felt like early on we were making too many careless mistakes. I don't know what type of ball we're using or what, if it's just sweat getting on the ball. But a lot of we had 18 or 19 turnovers. We had 19 turnovers, and unlike Baylor, like we forced Baylor, and Baylor had 18. We forced Baylor into a lot of turnovers with just our defensive pressure, turn the ball, active hands, which I applaud. Awesome. But we had 19, and at least I'm going to say at least 7 of those were just unforced turnovers. And we just can't afford to have those. You know what I mean? Especially playing a team of this caliber. I'm not saying we had to play perfect in order to beat Baylor, but we had to play one of our better games, and we played good. One thing about this team is we got a ton of heart, so we're never really out of a game. However, if you want to be able to execute and win the games, which we'll talk about some keys to winning towards the end of this, but you're going to have to do the little things. And I felt like we kind of came up short on little things, like just take care of the ball. Like a couple of times the ball hit us in the hands and then just ricochet out of bounds. I was like, I don't know what's going on. But I'll tell you one thing. Levi Stocker damn sure loves some Bahamas, don't he? This is the best I've seen him play in the years he's been here. This little stretch. And hopefully he can continue that. I remember having a conversation with some of the coaches last year, in the beginning of the year, and they were saying like Levi might be our leading scorer, or there's going to be Bones and Levi. There's going to be our two leaders. And of course, we see what Bones did. Bones was a bona fide. I think he was Player of the Year in the conference. Drafted 21 in the NBA draft. Was 23? Could have been 23. But now he's doing well in the league. Get well soon to Bones, because I think he has a foot injury or ankle injury. But Levi never quite lived up to what I was expecting, and who am I to expect stuff? But he never really quite got there. And I always seen flashes, because he seems to be a very skilled and capable player. But I just really never seen it come to a complete fruition of what I thought it would be. But these last few games, you're really starting to see like, oh, he can score the ball. His one dribble right, spin back to the left hand finish is a real good move for him. His patience, he has capability of passing the ball out of the post, which is a very underrated skill, because I've seen it where bigs can become black holes. You get the ball and they just feel like they have to go up with it. Not with Levi. Levi is very unselfish and willing to pass the ball. So that's something that I'm really liking to see from him. So Stocker's stock is going up, and I just hope he can continue that as we move forward. In the first half, you would think that things were starting to get a little bit away from us, but like I said, with this team, man, we're just so resilient. We just got so much heart, and our depth is always a thing. And it's just a thing that we got 3 players out. Ain't no telling where we would be if we were completely healthy right now. However, I do think the injuries are so unfortunate, but I think they are beneficial, because they're helping some of our young guys. They're forcing them to get quality minutes, right? So instead of playing like 10 minutes a night, some of our freshmen are playing 20. Instead of being in the game at the very end when the game's already over, or in the beginning of the first, or in the middle of the first half, and not really seeing too much of the action. Some of our young guys are in the thick of it, and they have to be in there at the end of the game where every possession counts. Every possession counts throughout the whole game. That's one of the things that you learn as you mature within the game. But it's just they're in the thick of it when you have to be, everything has to be precise. So I think it's a learning experience that's really going to help us down the road this year. We're going to have Ace returning soon, and then next year we're going to have Jameer and McAllister back. And it's just going to be we're going to be a way more experienced team. So that's exciting. Still unfortunate about the injuries, but it's still a glass half full view for me. So one part of the game that I wish didn't happen, but I know the game's full of runs. Is beginning of the second half, we came out extremely flat. Our defense wasn't ramped up like I felt like it should have been, and our offense was stagnant. But our offense has the tendency to be stagnant at times. So I wasn't too worried about that. But our defense did not look like we were ready to play. And I looked over to my guy. I was watching the game with my brother. He's in town, and I said, we had just made a little comeback, and I was like, man, I don't like it. And the reason why I said that is because usually when teams make a comeback and a team calls timeout, after that timeout, whoever was up comes out and they go on another run to extend the lead to 10 or something like that after we cut it down to 2. And sure enough, on cue, am I lying?
No, you ain't lying.
I'm not lying. So, and sure enough, Baylor came out and extended the lead back to 10. But again, our team is so resilient and so tough that you just gotta love it. And this is why I always I had this argument. My wife doesn't believe we view things differently on this, but I see this team is going to be one of the most exciting teams to watch because all the games are going to be close and exciting. And that has some games, if it's a blowout, you can just you'll peek at the TV and you'll go back and do whatever, you read the book, or be on your phone and be like back and forth with the TV. Whereas with these games, they're so nip and tuck that you have to be all the way locked in, or you're gonna miss something. You're on the edge of your seat. So I feel like this team is going to be one of the most exciting teams in the last few years. Just for that aspect, the games are going to be more exciting. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't say exciting teams, but the games are going to be the most exciting. But like I said, so we're a resilient team, and our defense will, like I always said, the defense is always going to allow us to be in good games. So one thing I got to give a shout out to the coaching staff and the players for doing is our transition defense. I know, like sometimes my team would kind of struggle with this, but looking at this team, like coming out of a press or coming off of a turnover, getting back and fixing the defense, I don't think I've seen it done as well as this team is doing it. The communication they have out there on the defensive end has to be through the roof, because sometimes it's 4-on-5, or it's a 3-on-2 break or something like that, and we just all get back and we're communicating, we're getting matched up, we're fixing the matchups throughout the game. It's beautiful to see. Me being a defensive player and really paying attention to those details, I have to tip my hat to the coaching staff and the players for really focusing on transition defense. So coming down the stretch, we start going on a run. And, of course, Vince is always going to be one of the guys who has an imprint on the game because he's Vince. He's Vince. He does a little bit of everything. And he wasn't really hitting his shot. He kind of wasn't hitting the shot first half, whatever, but shooter's going to shoot. And Vince hit a big step back, and then Tsunami Sahonis came back and hit a pull-up three in transition. And oh man, it was beautiful to see. Which makes me wonder, Marcus had it too. Hopefully in Bahamas, I've seen he had an uptick in how he's playing. Levi Stock has an uptick in how they're playing. So I'm really hoping that this can carry over to when we get back and we play our Campbells and stuff like that. I hope that really can carry over, because we can really, if we're competing with Baylor and their size and their athleticism and their coaching pedigree. Not saying it's going to be easier, because every game is going to have its different challenges, but we can compete with anybody. We competed with the number 6 team in the country. We can compete with anybody. And I hope that Marcus and Stocker can take this momentum and just keep it rolling. But coming down the stretch, I'm a nitpick now. Coming down the stretch, I feel as if, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but these last few games, coming down the stretch, I feel as if we have a bad shot selection in key moments. I don't understand why it is. But like, not the shots, they're like just horrible shots, but they're like forced shots, almost like we have 15 seconds left on the shot clock and we're swinging it, but you're not really open. You're kind of open, but you're not really, and we're just forcing the shot up there. In games like that, you can't afford for those shots. Unless you're like only person I would see, I would like a Brandon Rozelle, a Troy Daniels. Who else? Who are my knockdown shooters? A B.A. Walker, a Jamal Schuler. But we don't have like real knockdown shooters like that. Or if they are, they're just not as comfortable shooting it yet. I don't think we have that kind of guy yet for us to shoot those kind of shots. Because those are momentum swinging shots. Okay, so if you make it, boom, it's a big momentum swing for us. But if you miss it and Baylor comes down and scores, that was like a turnover in an instance. So I feel like coming down the stretch, we do have to be mindful of getting great shots instead of just accepting good shots. or okay shots, because we need them. We need them. Also, of course, rebounding. We do a great job of the front half of defense, which is keeping the ball in front, contesting a shot. But we do a poor job at completing the defense, which is boxing out, grabbing a rebound. So down the stretch, I felt they had too many. They got their hands on too many offensive rebounds. Coming down the stretch, I felt like we missed way too many free throws. And I didn't understand how Baylor shot so many free throws compared to our, it was like 10 free throws and almost like 30. Let me look at that for real. What was the real numbers? Free throws. Okay, so it was 13 to 24. We were 7 for 13. They were 18 for 24. And I feel as if whenever we truly needed to make both free throws, we would go 1 or 2. Not saying if we'd have made all our free throws, we'd have won the game, but we definitely would have been in a better position coming down the stretch if we would have completed our free throws. Because I believe some of these were 1-and-1s that we missed the front end on, or we made the first one, then missed the second. It was just one of those things where we just couldn't knock it down the way we needed to. And just looking at some of these stats, all right, so, and this is what I was saying, we'll get into like the rebounding and stuff like that. So looking at these stats, field goal percentage, we shot 42, they shot 40.4. You ask me, that's really good. We shot 30% from 3, they shot 33% from 3. Cool. Free throws, we shot 53.8% from free throw line, and they shot 75. We got to do better. But here's the kicker. Total rebounds, we had 33, they had 42. We had 12 offensive rebounds, they had 17. That alone probably led to a lot of points for them. Points off offensive rebounds. We have to fix the issue of being out rebounded. And if we can do that, like I said, rebound is part of defense. So if we tighten that part up, not only would our defense be more stellar than it already is, because I think we're definitely one of the best teams in the country when it comes to our defensive prowess. But if we would tighten up our rebounds, we might have a chance of like blowing some teams out. Like seriously, just being dogs and blowing teams out. So hopefully we can do that. We had 14 assists, there are 12. We had 5 blocks, so there are 2 blocks. We had 11 steals, so there are 8 steals. And when you look at the turnovers, we had 19, and they had 18. Like I said, I think most of ours were unforced, and I think we forced them into a lot of turnovers. So moving forward to UConn, they look like a pretty solid team. Another long, athletic team. They don't seem as disciplined as this Baylor team, which I think will work in our favor moving forward today. But if we go out there and play our game the way we know how, share the ball on offense like we've been doing, playing inside out, throwing the ball into Levi, and another thing, we have to get better at post entries. Sometimes Levi is really working his tail off to get position in the post, and we'll have a guard with the ball. And if you see a big man's numbers, you see all of VCU, and you see his numbers, and he's in the post, one hand up, he has to touch the ball. He has to touch the ball. He did his work early. We have to find a way to be able to make that pass and get it in there. And sometimes guys are just so uncomfortable doing that, and they're scared of making a turnover, so they'll just look, and then pass it off. And for a big man who has to work so hard, like guards, we just, we step in, we pop out, we catch the ball. Bigs are really working their tail off to get position in the post to be able to receive the ball. It's only right that we reward them with the ball when they do that. And Levi has been doing nothing but producing since we've been in Bahamas. So it would be a good option to give him the ball. but we have to become. And it's not that we don't want to. It's just that I don't think that some of our guys are as comfortable making that post entry. So we have to get better at that as well. But I like what I saw yesterday. We showed a tremendous amount of heart. We showed tremendous amount of fight, tremendous amount of dog. We just have a few things that we need to tighten up down the stretch and beginning of the half, and we could have won that game. But moving forward, we can fix those things. Very small things to fix, but they're huge in the grand scheme of things. So looking forward to the game today. I feel like we could definitely beat UConn. I'd probably say we could beat them by like a good 7 points. We just have to lock in. They are going to be athletic, but if we stick to the fundamentals, we'll be fine. So until next time, much love. I hope y'all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Peace.